In this video, I am going to explain how we can use our triggers for spiritual development. Ultimately, life is the ultimate guru. You don't need any book, you don't need to go to India, and you don't need to go find any external source in order to develop spiritually, right? So, ultimately, when something triggers us, when something happens or somebody says something that gives us an emotional reaction, the trigger is the catalyst that needs to be integrated, because there's some shadow work that needs to be done here to bring the unconscious into the conscious. Essentially, your triggers are showing you the parts of yourself in which you are not free. And if you understand this can totally transform the way that you go through life, and you can start making spiritual progress very rapidly. If something happens that triggers you, like maybe your girlfriend or your boyfriend or someone in your family or someone you work with says something and it sets you off, then first of all, take a deep breath and understand this is the spiritual training ground here. This is where the inner healing work happens. Because if you think about it, the reason you are getting triggered is because not of the event, but because of your interpretation and your reaction to the event. Because if you actually weren't attached to this person's opinion, who might be saying something about you don't like or whatever, if you actually weren't attached to their opinion, you wouldn't care at all what they have to say. It would just bounce right off of you. So we need to ask ourselves, why am I getting triggered? Why is there this emotional reaction that is coming up for us? Like, what are we making it mean? Because the event itself doesn't have any inherent meaning. It's us who gives meaning to the event. So if somebody is saying something about you, for example, and you're like, I don't know, you fear that you're being like misperceived or misunderstood or something like that. I mean, you can clarify, you can like have a conversation with them, but ultimately what it comes down to is ask yourself, why am I getting triggered? Like, why am I attached to what this person thinks or has to say, right? Because if you truly were secure and you were tapped into yourself, then it would just bounce right off you and it wouldn't affect you. So our triggers show us the unhealed parts of ourself. Life will always give you the exact situations you need in order for you to heal. Life is always operating for your highest good. And once you understand this, there is a massive change in how we go through life. Like, once we actually have this realization, and it might take a while to get there, but once we actually have this awareness that life is happening for us and not to us, right? Pressure creates diamonds. So it's the pressure that we are experiencing that is causing us to dig deeper into the self. And I know it's uncomfortable. I know it's hard. It's not... The spiritual path is... that's the whole game. It's about facing your own demons. And yes, it's very tough at times, but by being able to look your darkness in the eye, look your demons in the eye, and just look at them and just see what they're telling you. You can heal the information. You can heal the trigger, the catalyst. You can integrate it, and then you essentially level up. There's another part of yourself that you just healed, right? So it's like, oh, this thing no longer like triggers me anymore. And you can just go deeper and get more tapped into your purpose on this world. Get tapped into get tapped into self-actualization and what it is that get tapped into your mission. Find your dharma or your soul's purpose, which is ultimately, my belief is that that's the whole reason we exist, is to get to know the self and find our unique contribution to the world that is going to serve and benefit the world. And I believe that the world desperately needs this, actually. It's like you have this holy grail inside of you that you need to unlock and give to the world in order to heal the world, essentially. And it's done by walking the spiritual path. It's done by getting to know the self, chipping away at the things that are not you, chipping away at the aspects of yourself, the conditioned parts of yourself that are not authentic to your soul, or who you are at the deepest level, and really getting tapped into what is it that you want, right? What is it that you want? And a good starting point is, well, I'll say this for another video. Thanks for watching. I love you guys, and until next time.